This is Bernie Thompson, and I'm excited to announce our new training facility at Automotive Test Solutions in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Diagnostic Town, USA. Be the best of the best. This is the next level training. This is the training that you need. We're going to only give the most high-tech, relevant training, stuff that your techs can come to and actually take back to the shop and be more profitable for you. In our Electronics 101 class, you'll learn how to use an oscilloscope effectively and accurately. So you'll not only get days of practice using your oscilloscope on engine simulators, but we will put those oscilloscopes on real-world cars that have problems. So you can solve real-world problems, what you need to know. You'll come back and you'll actually be able to use the technology that you learned at this school. This is the next level training.
Guys, this is such a great class. This Bernie has just he's knocked it out of the park on this class. I mean, so much information. It was 3.5 days of just absolute packed information. Jeff stepped in here and gave us a ton of information on the scope. I've been using the scope for 15 years, and I learned so much stuff in this class. It's not even funny. So if you have an opportunity to get out here and do this class, do it. You will not regret it.
My name is Steve Swanlin. I run a shop in Puyallup, Washington, called 15th Street Automotive. I've been a technician for about 39 years. I've owned Bernie's equipment for years, but kind of never really knew what I had until this class. The ATS scope is a great, powerful scope that I wasn't utilizing properly. Coming to this class kind of showed me what I had and how to use it. So I've got a powerful tool that I never knew I had. I own a Pico, I own the Autel, I own the ATS E-scope, and the E-scope is by far the most powerful scope I have. And now that I know how to use it, it'll be my first grab. I consider this class possibly one of the major milestones in my career. You know, you remember the first time you got your first scanner. That's a milestone. The first time you used a scope, that's a milestone. The information that you get out of this class is another milestone. It teaches you to think not like a mechanic, but like an engineer. So this is invaluable. This is information that I'll go back tomorrow and fix cars with.
I really enjoyed the training, the 3.5 days. Extremely necessary, extremely needed in what I have to do. I appreciate all the information from Bernie, and I am actually a scope owner of the ATS4 Elite. Highly recommended it, but this class will set you apart from all the rest.
My name's Ben Lucier from upstate New York, and my brother and I run an auto body and service shop that our father started in the late 70s. We've been running it for about 5 years now, and Bernie has definitely changed our world, changed how we think about things and find problems, fix cars. And we started out probably about 5 years ago with a Pico scope. It was pretty convoluted. It was really kind of hard to get used to using, so when we found out about Bernie and the scope that he made, we eventually got one, learned through his YouTube videos and training how to use it, and it's far superior in my opinion. It's just way easier to use, easier to, has functions that Pico doesn't have or didn't have. And we've just completely converted over to it. Unfortunately, the Pico kind of sits in the box. It was a lot of money, but we just don't use it at all anymore. So, but if it weren't for Bernie, we wouldn't be here fixing cars the way that we do. He really changed our complete mindset and how we diagnose and think about how things work. Training class is awesome. Really is eye-opening, enlightening, learning new tips and tricks for the scope, tricks for finding certain problems, things to look for, on an actual car. The training boards are awesome. They're really cool to play with. We're thinking about buying one to bring back home and work with the technicians on it as well. So definitely eye-opening, enlightening.
My name's Elliot Lucier, and I'm from Half Moon, New York. Bernie's understanding of how everything works and his ability to explain it is definitely a game changer for our industry. Our industry really lacks on education. There's a lot of parts throwing. People don't really understand how these systems work. This guy is kind of life-changing, the way he explains things. And Bernie's scope, you can tell it doesn't take very much time for you to use it and realize that it was built for working on cars.
My name is James. I own an automotive repair shop in Shreveport, Louisiana. I've been to training all across the country, and by far Bernie's class is super passionate. The guy knows his stuff on every level, which is super important because you don't get the 30,000 foot data dump. You really get an in-depth description of exactly what's going on, so you can bring that back and apply it perfectly. Spending money on training, you get two types of training. You basically get the kind of training where they come in and they data dump you for about 8 hours and don't really care if you get it, but just get through their material. And the return on investment for that's been nothing. I mean, I've spent, I don't know how much money and not got anything out of it. But the second you start getting at an engineering level like Bernie does, it just sparks passion between the techs to get to that next level. They don't get that through the regular, either your parts house training where they're just trying to sell you parts, or they're just trying to sell you tools and parts, or the big national training groups. They just don't get that kind of attention to detail that you get from somebody who's really engineering everything and at that level. Looking at it from an engineering standpoint, not just from the overall, this is what I would think would be the process of an engine, but basically how you would look at it from an engineering point of view to help solve the problems. Because if you start rolling through everything in your head about what you think is going to happen next, you're thinking at a level that the engineer in the car is not thinking at, and that's just going to lead you down the wrong path, or it's going to allow you to miss something you could have caught if you would have actually known how to speak the language the car's speaking, and that's huge.
Diagnostic Town USA. Be the best of the best.